be better.
A man has been arrested in connection with the death of a woman who fell from Arthur's Seat.
I've lost my only child.
With extraordinary access.
Did you hear anything out of the ordinary?
I heard a female screaming.
We hear evidence from the victim.
If you look the word, you don't make me feel the way that you make me feel.
In a horrifying case of domestic abuse.
You've not been a British woman, I'm telling you now, it's not gonna work.
Told across 2 nights.
You're not being asked to find him guilty of being a nasty guy.
This is Fawziyah Javed and her husband of approximately 9 months, Kashif Anwar, as they embark on a romantic getaway, celebrating their budding parenthood on a mini-moon adventure, with Fawziyah carrying their child at 17 weeks pregnant. Despite Fawziyah's fear of heights while being over 3 months pregnant, her husband, when suggested they visit the rocky summit of Arthur's Seat, a landmark that offers sprawling views over Edinburgh. Little did Fawziyah know that her husband is planning to push her off the cliff, and unfortunately, today, we are sharing this heartbreaking story because Kashif's plan succeeded. Fawziyah and her unborn baby did not make it. Welcome to True Crime Capital. This is the cold-hearted murder of Fawziyah Javed, a 31-year-old employment lawyer from Leeds, was renowned for her extensive involvement in supporting various charities throughout her adult life. As the only child of Mohammed and Yasmin Javed, her dedication to fairness and justice was evident from as early as 8 years old, fueling her ambition to pursue a career in law. Fawziyah shared a close bond with her parents, often enjoying lunches together and embarking on vacations around the world. At 29 years old, Kashif Anwar worked as an optical assistant in Leeds. In August 2019, Yasmin visited the store where Anwar was employed to purchase glasses, accompanied by Fawziyah. A conversation between Fawziyah and Kashif ensued, sparking a warm affection between them. While Fawziyah worked in the city center, fate brought them together again a few weeks later, leading to an exchange of contact details and the blossoming of their relationship. Both devout Muslims, faith held significant importance for Fawziyah and Kashif. On December 25, 2020, they exchanged vows in a beautiful Islamic ceremony, settling in Boetie, West Yorkshire. The couple soon received the joyous news of Fawziyah's pregnancy just 5 months after their wedding, eagerly anticipating the arrival of their first child together. The picture-perfect relationship would unfortunately be short-lived. It was only 3 months after their nuptials that Kashif left his new bride unconscious in a graveyard. During this period, he also assaulted Fawziyah, striking her head and suffocating her with a pillow. Fawziyah had started secretly recording her husband to gather evidence against him. Her first report to the police detailed the abuse and Kashif's theft of £12,000 from her account. Despite police acknowledgement, they cautioned Fawziyah about Kashif's potential defense, and they said to her, "Look, we believe you, but he is going to turn around and say you gifted this money to him." So Fawziyah had to go back to try and persuade him and his parents to give the money back.
And she deactivated her Facebook account because the accused said to her that I'm not on Facebook and it would be good to just concentrate on the marriage.
Were you aware of Fawziyah having blocked any family members or friends from social media?
Fawziyah hadn't, but the accused had got into her phone and started blocking male members of the family.
Did she ever tell you anything about money having been transferred from her account?
She did. She said that the accused, one day while she was asleep, logged into her bank account online and withdrew £12,000.
A second police report was filed shortly before their Edinburgh getaway, where today's events unfolded. Kashif had already isolated Fawziyah from social media and blocked male relatives from her phone. Yasmin knew that something was wrong when Fawziyah reminded Kashif to put his seatbelt on, and he turned on her in fury. Yasmin had sat with her daughter as Fawziyah reported her husband to the police for punching her face through a pillow, while he told her she was never going to leave him, that he would finish her, destroy her. Yasmin would later report that during this period, her daughter had previously contacted divorce lawyers to get the ball rolling, but Kashif always said he would never grant her wish. The first time Fawziyah meticulously gathered evidence for the impending divorce, including recordings of Kashif's threats. On 2 September 2021, Fawziyah and Kashif traveled to the Scottish capital, Edinburgh, for a mini-break to celebrate her upcoming 32nd birthday and a mini-moon. It was by this point a fatigued Fawziyah had expressed to Kashif she did not want to be with him anymore, and once again asked him for a divorce. Despite Fawziyah's fear of heights while being over 3 months pregnant, her husband when suggested they visit the rocky summit of Arthur's Seat, a landmark that offers sprawling views over Edinburgh. Chilling CCTV showed Kashif leading Fawziyah up to the hill, and then they took selfies at the top shortly after 8 p.m. Calls were made from Fawziyah's phone to her father and Kashif's father around 9:20 p.m., shortly before Fawziyah was pushed off the edge. Moments later, Kashif Anwar forced her off the cliff. Fawziyah was thrown off Arthur's Seat in the capital of Edinburgh. She was 17 weeks pregnant. After Fawziyah landed on the side of Arthur's Seat, witnesses swiftly came to her aid. Despite her critical condition, she managed to relay what had transpired. As she lay gravely injured, she pleaded with passerby Dania Rafike, imploring her to prevent her husband from approaching, stating, "Don't let my husband near me, he pushed me." Tragically, Fawziyah succumbed to her injuries shortly thereafter.
She said, "He pushed me." I asked her who had pushed her, and she said, "My husband."
The fact she was a lawyer with all the legal training, I do think that she must have thought about leaving this evidence behind.
She said he pushed her because she tried to end the relationship. I suggest the evidence clearly demonstrates that Kashif Anwar absolutely controlled Fawziyah Javed's life.
Telephone call, Kashif Anwar said to Fawziyah Javed, "You're a disease in everyone's life. The sooner you're dead, or the sooner you're out of my life, it'll be better."
Upon Fawziyah's fall from the cliff, instead of calling 999, Kashif contacted his father. He later approached a passerby, claiming his phone was dead, and requested assistance in calling an ambulance. Despite Fawziyah's insistence to the first 2 individuals who found her that her husband had pushed her, Kashif maintained to arriving emergency services and police that his wife had slipped and fallen in an accident on the hillside. Fawziyah Javed's final words became a crucial piece of evidence in her case, shedding light on the tragic events leading to her untimely demise at the age of 31. Kashif was then taken to Gayfield Square Police Station, and around 12:45 a.m., the next day was told of her death. The officer said, "There wasn't much of a reaction. In my opinion, he didn't say much to it, and didn't have any obvious physical reaction." When questioned, Kashif insisted that, "Fawziyah's just on the edge of the cliff, man. We both just slipped. I tried grabbing her arm and she fell. We both technically slipped, and then I tried grabbing her arm and she went sideways." A firefighter sent to help rescue Fawziyah claims Kashif told him that his wife slipped as he bumped into her trying to get a selfie. In April 2023, the murder trial of Fawziyah Javed commenced. In court, recordings were played of phone calls between the couple. When Fawziyah was staying with her parents for Ramadan and Kashif wanted her to come home. "Who the fuck do you think you are?" he says. "You're a disease in everyone's life. The sooner you're dead, or the sooner you're out of my life, the better." Consultant forensic pathologist Dr. Ralph Bohaidar told the court that Javed died from complications of multiple injuries from the fall. It was also revealed Fawziyah was hospitalized during her early pregnancy, and a witness cried in the dock as she testifies about a visit from Kashif, during which he tells his bitch wife that he hopes she dies in childbirth and blames her for bringing out this side of him. Meaning he was blaming her for his uncontrolled temper. Firefighter Sean Stratford, who gave evidence to the High Court in Edinburgh, told jurors, he said that he stood up to take a selfie. He slipped and bumped her and she had fallen. He said Anwar seemed to be calm as he spoke with him at the scene. Although cases like Fawziyah's are very difficult to prove in court, when there is only one person who truly knows what happened and they chooses to lie, the investigation then relies on largely circumstantial evidence. The evidence she gathered against her husband and her last words to a witness made her case rock solid in court. The evidence was based on Fawziyah secretly recorded phone calls of Kashif threatening her and going to the police twice so that there was a record of his abusive behavior. In a recording Fawziyah secretly made, her husband had told her to stop behaving like a British woman. Kashif can be heard telling his wife, "Who do you think you are? You're not a man, so come back tomorrow like you've been told." Kashif had chillingly told Fawziyah, "The sooner you're dead, or the sooner you're out of my life, it'll be better." The second police report was made just days before Kashif killed her on the weekend away in Edinburgh. Fawziyah's mother claimed Anwar resented the solicitor for being an independent, well-educated young woman. He didn't like the fact that Fawzi had her voice, her own opinions. He didn't like that, she said. After a week-long trial, Kashif Anwar was convicted of killing Fawziyah at the High Court in Edinburgh.
Guilty.
Yes.
Yes. Are you making any deletions to the charge?
No.
And is that unanimous or by a majority?
By majority.
Judge Lord Beckett imposed a mandatory life sentence with an imprisonment period of a minimum of 20 years. He told Anwar, "You have been found guilty of murdering Fawziyah Javed, who was a very special person. She was your pregnant wife, and you also caused the death of your unborn child." He told the killer that his victim was willing to trust that he would keep her safe when they went up Arthur's Seat, but that he pushed her off when nobody else was around, thinking he would get away with her murder. Alex Prentice, the lead prosecutor in the case, said evidence collated by the victim in the months leading up to the murder was crucial to securing Kashif's conviction. A two-part documentary on Channel 4, titled The Push, Murder on the Cliff, follows the tragic death of the expectant mum and how her case unraveled in court. Yasmin Javed breaks down in tears as she recalls how her incredibly amazing daughter became withdrawn after marrying her controlling husband. She was an incredibly amazing young girl. She was our life, our world, our heartbeat. She was a humanitarian who wore her heart on her sleeve and would do anything for anybody. She was an intelligent, articulate young woman. She was a perfect child. She was beautiful inside and out, Yasmin said. A lot of people have described her as an angel on earth. Ms. Javed's family has now supported the group Killed Women, which is calling for major change as it seeks to uncover and prevent the hidden homicides of women pushed to their deaths. Yasmin said, "Domestic abusers will continue to get away with murder if we don't ensure the cases of so-called fallen women are rigorously investigated by authorities. We must have a system that delivers justice for these women. The conviction will never heal the grief of losing our beautiful Fawziyah, but we are campaigning to ensure that all those who murder women in this way are held to account." The head of documentaries at Channel 4, Alison Pomeroy, is under no illusion what an important bit of documentary work The Push is. She said, "To tell Fawziyah's story in this way, with her family bravely sharing what is an unimaginably painful time for them, is both a great privilege and a great responsibility. No woman should have to suffer an abusive relationship. In Pudsey, West Yorkshire, gender-based violence remains a persistent issue, despite efforts to address it. Cases of domestic abuse, sexual assault, and harassment continue to affect individuals, predominantly women and marginalized genders. The community grapples with providing adequate support and resources for survivors, often facing challenges in accessing assistance due to stigma and fear of repercussions. While awareness campaigns and support services strive to mitigate the impact, societal norms and systemic barriers hinder progress. Addressing the root causes, promoting education, and fostering a culture of respect and equality are crucial steps in combating gender-based violence. What do you think can be done to combat gender-based violence in our society? Looking forward to continuing the conversation in the comments section below. Thank you for watching TCC. As always, stay safe out there.